all the plays on the GT20 Pro.
Which is the phone to be playing on. You can now play the rest over here in the circus with us, Mr. Blank and Jackie.
We're like a comedy mime duo act.
That's right.
When we commentate, we're doing a lot of miming.
We
can't see it.
pretend we're playing on the GT20 Pro, but we wish we were playing on the GT20 Pro.
We do. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. For now, though, we'll stick with the present. And what a gift we have been given with today's opening game, Blank. And look at the statistics we've got to give you. Man, Yummy having a hell of a day. And really, boom, showing they could actually push themselves into a fantastic finish. If this is the way they're playing throughout the rest of the games we've got, Blank, we're in for some explosivity all damn day.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were saying, I was saying it even yesterday, Yummy is a big player here in the PMWC, right? He's very, very good at the game and also seems to operate extremely well under pressure, making plays that I don't think a lot of teams would have expected. I mean, they're just waiting in the grass in the middle of the open for Vampire Esports to basically step on him before he's sent in with the DBS. That's something that I don't think a lot of teams were watching out for here. It is Reject on our screens. Twisted Minds get a little bit too close for comfort. And this seems to be a recurring trend of Twisted Minds putting themselves in very uncomfortable positions at the start of the game. It was a bit of an awkward playing path up from that north side down towards Lipovka.
And for Reject, they're not in the worst place. They had a great finish to yesterday, weren't able to capitalize on the potential that we saw in game one. But you don't want to suffer too many losses up against Twisted Minds early here. So they are playing cautious at least, trying to share the limited loot that is available between the two.
I think Reject understands that they play their best games towards the end of the map, right? Where they can play as four, they play off the back of one another, and they're able to get some good shots in. So I think for Reject, taking an early fight like this is not super comfortable and not one that they're often going for. If we remember, we go back to the group stage. Teams ran at them, they got scared. They were like, what?
They panicked. They really did.
Yeah, and then they just fell over. So I think for Reject, this is not where they're at their most comfortable, though I think that a little bit of that confidence coming back through from being right now in fourth place, 55 points. They are currently 9 points behind second place, which is a mediocre game, let's be honest.
And hey, even with Alpha 7, hi there, even with Alpha 7 looking good and feeling like the early game went really well, all it took was one rough rotate and they were blown out of the runnings there. Yeah. You are in a good spot, but it's only 1 point of safety. So obviously DRX and Boom nipping at your heels. Then like you say, you're not that far down. When we look a little bit lower than that, outside of the top three, there's a lot of room for these teams to move up. It gets a bit scary. The real struggle bus is down towards the bottom end of our leaderboard. So some of these teams, like Alliance, that had a monstrous performance previously in the tournament, well, they've lost that oomph. They've lost that steam. If they want to climb back, it has to start now. You might leave yourself on a sinking ship. Divine, though, let's tune in on his POV. Uh-oh, Obscure. He slipped off the top rope. Man's lost his footing and lost his legs. This makes it more awkward because he's so far back. He's a bit of an off-angler. So there's no one nearby to support him. Divine starts to creep on in through the door as well. Clearing the angles third person. Reject might have been given an opportunity here. 4 versus 3 versus Twisted.
I like this rotate as well from Divine, honestly. I mean, the moving out from that building, a lot of players would have just completely committed to that position for way, way too long. Instead, Divine's like, look, I don't need to stay here. My teammates don't have the best angles for me, so I'm just going to slip out as they come up the stairs. And now he's in not a horrible spot. 2 shotguns to work with, but no vest, no helmet. He is incredibly weak when it comes to shots coming over towards him. Obscure, no way to get him back up again. I'm not sure if it was an explosion that he caused or what Reject caused. So, again, we'll check the elimination feed for when that one does come through. That should be a nice nade, actually, onto Dweller. Yeah, it is.
Wow. Twisted Minds priming that one to perfection. Going to hit the first man. Blow him away. Sasara out of position. Duello has to make a move and gamble on picking him up. In the meantime, OCO he gets an elevated angle. The shotgun peek through the window as well. All right, Divine, he's playing with confidence, but you've still got to connect on the actual shot. It's a real rough angle. You're peeking down through the off end of the window.
How is he still
Boy
alive?
with the DP spamming out. How on earth has he stayed alive for so long? Divine, given Divine intervention as well, still alive with a single sliver of health. No one can take him down.
Wow.
Oh, the jump shot don't connect.
Felt like that should have registered there. In goes an Ragey. Once again, Guizau's down. Sara's also on his last legs. But in comes Regiosio to assist. Goes to the jump shot. This guy has been absolutely hellish for a lot of the other squads here. Right now, with Twisted Minds just down to the 2. The rest goes through for Reject.
Oh, hang on though. OCO's movement, it really depends on the timing. They're on the stopwatch here, going for the res. They try and force him off, swings back around. Guizao still out of the fight. Divine, similar scenario there. OCO doesn't want the shotty anymore. Switches to the AK, dives off the side. They've got the compound. They're both going to go for the pick-me-up play. They want to recover their teammates and have full strength in numbers.
Don't think they've got much utility to work with here. But yeah, a 4v3 is just better. TJB zooming on past. Haven't heard the fighting just yet. It looks like they might just be making the rotate. I don't know if they're stopping or not.
I think they're debating it somewhat. Pulling off to the other compound over the road. GK first, potentially trying to get to see if they can assess this one. Maybe go in a little bit later. Now both squads have recovered the down players. They're at least up on their feet. It's very uncomfortable though on the split. Limited utility, like you said, you had to make concessions. You didn't have that long to loot, and they've all been funneled into this one POI for so long. There isn't much left for them, so you have to be on point. Rat, oh boy, tucks himself off on the outside of the balcony, again trying to play the outskirts, so if they come up and make their move around the outside, he can catch them. Sara's on the roof, everyone else playing the close angles.
Sort of just need to play the trading game. Power, though, sees over towards Boom. Razy's already down. Ratto Boy picked up by Regiosio will be flushed out. Good plays from Reject. That leads to Twisted Minds down at just 2 players now.
Reject, they're just focusing on being able to win that fight cleanly. If they keep all 4 players alive, that's the huge talking point. If they lose players, you think about the difference in these 2 teams in terms of the standings. It's far worse for Reject if they get taken down to a 3 or 2-man squad. Meanwhile, oh, hang on! No! Straight back to the Reject POV. It's all coming off. Twisted Minds want to twist the needle. They kick things off with a shotty. They dove in, realizing they had advanced manpower, but now they're gone. Taken completely out of the running. You've only got 1 man up on his feet. Twisted Minds are sticking the knife in.
They tried to trade it here, Jackie, and I just don't think it was the right play to go for. In goes Divine. I think he may be biting off more than he can chew here, Jackie. Desperately runs away. A pistol in the hands of Guizao.
Oh, they've hardly got anything to use. They're throwing whatever they can find. The kitchen sink has been thrown at Divine. It's tapped him on the back of the head, but he knows he needs to salvage his teammate. Jumps on the pick-me-up immediately. If he can somehow get OCO back up, at least that's something more to work with. There's the peak. It's only a pistol. Like you said, is he going to be strong enough with it? Such low HP. OCO hadn't had time to heal, and now he's done for.
4 elims found for Twisted Minds, and what a comeback that one was for the team. Yummy still send those nades in, and boom, it looked bad for them, but Power's down 2 players, just Al-Haji. The heavy hand remains.
A lot of fans in the arena chanting Power. You can hear them bringing the energy level up. For Power, though, it's a rough start. Whilst Reject were fighting Twisted Minds, they too were in an intense fight versus Boom. And even Easy goes down on that one. So it really is only the showman of Power that is left alive.
Doc from 4ME setting up the hard bridge camp here over on Sosnovka as the circle teases a Sosnovka finish. Team Liquid were looking to push across the river as well. Have managed to get to the other side of that channel as Vampire eke their way onto the bridge. IWNRX get themselves onto the sides of this bridge here. Have a little look through the cracks in the stairway. Potentially they can make something happen. With Doc having 5 nades though, it's going to be hard to push through.
Indeed. Alpha 7. They've opened up the nostrils and taken a big old whiff, and they can smell potential elimination points in the water. Is that a big turtle? Is that a blue whale? No. It's DRX. All split up. Meanwhile, Tiamba pushing down onto Team Liquid. Oh, Ayala! That's not too nice at all, is it? A mean way to introduce yourself with bullets straight to the face.
Shakes his hand and pulls out the DBS. I mean, for Tiamba, I can kind of understand how Ayala mucked that one up as much as he did, because that's some very weird movement coming out from Tiamba there. I think that you see Ayala just go for not the commit onto the play where it's the case of you tracking the target, you're just shooting round the tree, trying to guess them out. But yeah, that was very nicely played by Tiamba. Just these little tiny micro plays, which is what makes these squads the best in the world, coming together here at this international. Apex shuts him down. Nade in the hand. But the explosion will be taking him out instead. And that's another one. With the pin from the grenade to pin on the wall. For MV in terms of their point scoring.
The Apex Predator for Miracle Vibes. Will the whole team be animals here? They have struggled here in the playoffs. And you need some of that animal instinct to get you back in the games. Tongji Bao in a good spot. 5th place currently. Only 6 points behind Reject, and Reject are out of the runnings here in Game 2. They went down early to Twisted Minds, so TJB could have a chance, especially with third-party fight here, onto the Battle of the Bridge. IWNRX starting to suffer casualties now. 2 players left for Miracle Vibes, really hitting them heavy.
They barely step out with taking bullets to the shins and the toes here for Miracle Vibes, having a really good hold on this bridge, and it's one they set up nice and early with the circle, shifting over towards that western side as well. This is really, really nice for 4MB. Big fan of this one. And they're honestly fanning the flames over towards this side of the map as they are heating up. TJB, though, you're right. Some nice rotations early on, Jackie, but they are pinched now on Ferry Pier side. And I think getting across this bridge is going to be really difficult. Honestly, Team Liquid made the right decision very early on just to try and swing across, but they got ripped to pieces by Tiamba.
See how the nightmare scenario started for Power earlier on in this matchup as well, when Boom brought the hurt straight to them and were able to dismantle the squad. The Vampire POV here, a bit of a safer rotate for them at least, coming in with no other teams really nearby. But that is a stock contrast for what we've got going on behind the Battle of the Bridge.
Yeah.
Alula XIHC, Twisted Minds, the duo that's left there, and Tongji Bao, all now getting very close to one another on what is a tight choke point for the rotate.
The problem with this circle, and the problem with the previous circles, was the fact that it was kind of undecided whether it was going to Sosnovka and where on Sosnovka it was going. So a lot of teams hadn't already made that push. They thought they had much more time, but time has just flown by here, and teams have not got into position. Alex, last player remaining. TJB looking to take him down. Zjol on the other side. And Godless trying to provide backup. Maybe gets the flush, but does not quite find it, as only remains here. And a good player to get back up on his feet, because he's been making plays for TJB.
It's so rough as well. You can see Alex is trying to come across everything he can, even from the knocked state, to try and give them an opportunity to do something. Maybe commit with another tag back. Only he's going to be tight on the push here, trying to med up quickly enough as the move comes in. He does give himself some extra HP to play with, but barely. You can see how low he is. There's not much left. Oh, here comes Twisted Minds on Alula XIHC as well. Remember, these teams are all on top of one another. It's close distance. You can swoop on in, potentially flush some good healing points. That's a good connection from Guizhou as well.
There's a timer on this fight, though. The blue is hurting, and 4MB is a team that's waiting on the other side. The more open, ready to accept any team coming their way and chomp on them. Pick up the points for their troubles. Nades keep flowing through. In the meantime, Tiamba taking shots over towards Alliance, who are having a very bad main stage here, despite being so dominant in that group stage.
It's a complete change of pace for them. Flower He can be a real big dog for Tong Jiabao. We've seen him having show-stopping performances, but in this one, he's got to pull the plug, try and heal up. Meanwhile, what remained of Twisted Minds are waved out of action as they go down. They at least got some Elim points from this one. That's one saving grace to it with 5 points, but now the focus is on Tong Jiabao to take down Lula XIHC, keep themselves alive. If they clean this up now and can get out, they'll be happy.
They were prepared to sacrifice these 2 players as well in GK first and only, in the sense that it was going to be Flower as well as his teammate just to make the full send. Luckily, there is some big plays made towards the end there, which keeps TJB up as the 6. Now, everyone's kind of moved away from that bridge. It's no longer prime real estate, and 4MV looking to clear out more teams on the side, as Alpha 7 is going down once again. And like I said, that mental game is a big deal for this team.
The curse is starting to echo through the STC arena, and they're feeling the brunt of it. Godless went for the quick rotate. He dies out on the bridge. Gone now. Forget about him as the Lula XIHC are out of the runnings. McGrelly, up close and personal, switches to the shotty, bombards down onto Baron and removes his rule in the close quarters combat, but the zone is moving them forward. For Miracle Vibes, he'll have a clean spit and eyes on him as well. Nade gets cast into the smoke. That's on the money.
Will remove Alpha 7, who do not gain many points in this match. This opens things up for a meteoric rise from Boom Esports, currently 67 points, tied with first place. Those chicken dinner tiebreakers leading Alpha 7 forward, but this game might be going Boom's way down towards that southeast side. Tiamba, currently central, trying to get a bit more of that presence we saw from him in the group stage back on board.
Oh, mate. For Alliance, it just goes from bad to worse. They exit stage left to Talon. Not in the worst position with some of the other squads above them going down. If you have a huge game out of this one, keep adding to their total tally of eliminations. Who's to say they don't have a bit of a chance to build themselves up? But look at Boom here. This is the team that could be exciting for this one, Blank. You come into it in second place, already 3 elims, feeling pretty confident with how the game's going. They've taken a chicken dinner already. It could be a great day for them.
Absolutely, Jackie. I mean, let's take a quick look at the circle now, where players are set up. Tiamba playing around in that valley at the moment. They've got a 2-2 split going on. I quite like this. They have the compound to retreat to in a very central spot. DXavier over towards that northwest side, and 4MV, after all the punishment they dealt to a lot of other teams, they come away with 7 eliminations. It's still decent. They have 3 players they have to work their way through. Surprisingly, Tong Jiabao, they're in. I don't know how they made it in, but they did. They're currently battling with Doc at the moment.
Ooh, a battle that seems to be going their way. Flower putting the punish on. This is actually pretty huge for them. And you think about where they are currently in the placement, and you look at the contrast with 4 Miracle Vibes. 7 elims, they were stealing away some good points on this. Tong Jiabao get back into the zone, now have the longevity to play with. And remember, they're in a really good spot here. They could leapfrog some teams if they keep this up. Yeah. And you've got a weak 4 Miracle Vibes, but it's DXavier that are starting to encroach further in. Only goes for the rotate in the vehicle.
A knock onto DXavier though. GK first receives one of his own, but the fact that TJB had the resilience to make it into the zone as 4. This is a dangerous move. Going for the drive-by. Flower gets knocked out, but luckily they get the end on them. But he has to move. 2 knocks come through. I think they're just in the zone here, Jackie. There's a potential to pick him back up again, but very doubtful, as both players will just bleed out. That felt like an overzealous play coming through from TJB on a game that they could have scored big on.
Yeah, they needed to. They really needed to. They were giving themselves a fighting chance, but the full commit does not pay off. The drive-by doesn't give them what they wanted. And this is another team that could have started to climb their way up. Looking like now it's down to, again, just another one of those scenarios we've already seen today from Tong Jiabao, where it's just one player forced to coast it out until the end game. Boom. On our screens again now, up against DRX. Your number 2 and number 3 squads in close succession going into game 2 here. There's the flick up on the hillside. Yummy. He was up in the highest damage dealers for a reason, but he gets silenced in the 1v1.
Tiamba looking to maybe jump on the back of this, and with how tight our scorings are right now, Tiamba could actually leap up quite a bit in this game. They've got so much presence to work with. So many other teams have been suffering on the outside, and they've got all the utilities to play with. Pompit just has to get away from this one. Get in the motorbike and just send this away. Zip round the side as fast as possible. 3 elims, 1 player left alive here, looking for potentially a top 6, but Tiamba is on the hunt, prowling for the remnants of the scurry back coming through from Pombit.
So much damage to the highest teams in the standings. It really is giving an opportunity now, like you say, maybe for Tiamba to have a huge game on this one. 4 elims, good zone control, smart positioning, and isolating these fights. They know some of the players have scurried further back. Oh, this is a bit awkward, isn't it? Cardozo, right with Talon there, down towards the hut. On the jump out from the vehicle, it looked like he might have actually just spotted his head, so he knows to engage with the molly. That's 6 seconds of burning. You're just going to have to sit there and tank, and he waves goodbye with the flames.
He survives it. I was wondering if he's going to get burnt in that situation, but no, he's just fine. Cardozo out in 8th place. Team Liquid, they're not doing horribly at 40 points right now, 20 points behind the lead. And with the guys in the top side of the lobby, the top 3 down on a 2 and a 1, and it looks like Pombit's taking even more punishment. Not sure how long he is for this world, and not long at all, as they will exit stage left. 68 points, they claim first place.
The Wolves of Boom left out in the cold as the pack goes down heavy. DRX take another knock, it's just a solo left. Similar situation to TJB. Tiamba looking better and better the longer this one goes on. Feeling confidence with the fights they've been given. Talent being their direct competitors though. Up on 40 points going into the game. 5 elims, mirror matchup versus Tiamba. Vampire, they looked pretty good in game 1, but it was ripped away from them. And they haven't had that much impact in terms of the eliminations. Again, you're trying to see what you can do late game. Limited HP on 2 players. DRX now fully committed on 2 as the last man goes down.
Tiamba just moving around the circle as much as possible, Jack. They're trying to pick up points where they can. There's 16 teams remaining, and that is plenty to go. I love this spot right now from Shan as well, holding that high ground compound, which is going to be so important. TJB, Longs still inside the circle, though, so might be able to ladder up a bit. A top 5, very, very decent. Vampire, once again, into another high-placing position. 29 points at the moment. They do have pretty far to go right now, but we have said it, and I'll keep saying it, that this leaderboard is very, very close. There's lots of opportunities for jump-ups at the moment. In our second match of the day, Tiamba will retreat back to this high ground position inside the compound. Maybe not looking for the highest elim game. I think they understand that those 10 points from the chicken dinner, which should be guaranteed from this spot, is more important.
They know what the smartest play to go for is. Vampires soaring around the outskirts of the hill, take a few shots. Peppering those bullets over onto DXavier. The trio alive there. Nade thrown out, slightly off target. The Lone Ranger from Tongjia Bao in Longs down towards the bottom there in the gulch, tucking himself in. Again, looking to just coast for the longevity on this one. A little bit of scouting from Talon. They've got a lot of map control over here. So much room to breathe, whereas the rest of the squads are fighting in close succession, especially with Tiamba now getting a good line of sight back over onto DXavier.
Yeah, just slowly dropping these smokes out to deny some of the sight lines onto their position. They're surrounded on this Bermuda Triangle of a circle with DXavier, Talon, and Vampire. The northwest, northeast, south, respectively. We're Longs sitting back, keeping this game calm. Tongjia Bao done very, very well. Realistically, this team should have gone out probably 15 minutes ago. The fact that they get into this position is just a testament of skill that they displayed over towards that northwest side of the map in the blue for so long. More shots go through, though, from Nuzi. Finds Nade.
Oh, that was actually a bit risky as well. I mean, Stoned has now isolated the peak from QZ. He was able to put bullets towards him. He scarpers slightly back, tucks into the compound with the rest of the squad. So Vampire deal a bit of damage onto 2 squads there. You do get that 1 knock across onto DXavier, but they should have time to pick things back up. Talon's starting to move up a little bit as well. They've been scouting for some time, but have never fully committed onto these fights. Don't flicks back over.
Oh.
That's the re-knock onto DXavier.
Consistently punishing these peaks coming through from DXavier. Just cannot get an angle for even a second. Stone playing this one out pretty perfectly at the moment. The next circle, where does it go? Does it shift towards the center, push all of these teams out of these angles, which are the barest amount of cover they're able to play? And it is central, giving Tiamba one hell of a position to work with. Talon will steal away that elimination from them, though, which they will not be happy about.
The claws come out once again as Talon swoop in to put themselves in the driving seat. Most eliminations in the current game so far. Oh, there's the quick getaway, though. Jump in the vehicle, just the duos. They take the one car down the hill, get into a better spot. Map geometry giving you a little bit more cover now from the angles that are in play. And Talon, it's been all about the scouting, but that's because they had zone. Now they've got to move up a little bit further forward.
So weird the way this circle works, where it's sort of just angling towards this endgame, where everyone's just going to have to appear out in the open at some point. And Tiamba all the while trying to pick up as many points as possible off the back of this one, while securing themselves that chicken dinner. Some sort of gifted circles, but I think Tiamba played well enough to get into this position. Great shots over towards DXavier, which will take them out of the game. TJB ranks up again into a top 4. Be so pleased about this one. Tiamba, though, needs to start thinking about these teams who are getting a little bit too close for comfort. Since the start of the main stage, Tiamba has dealt with that slander, wondering where the team that we saw from group stage went, and they're back here to play now.
Tongji Bao, the entire team watching on the last man screen, hoping that he can coast on through, go undetected, and that the fights will erupt between the other fully topped up squads. Talon, debating whether or not they want to get themselves in the vehicles. You talk about vehicles, here you go. This was the solo, behind the car, the burned out vehicles, no chance to detonate it, little bit of cover from the rock, but Vampire seem to have sniffed him out. They've got some nades still.
It's the question of whether it's worth it to make the push out, to send a grenade across. I mean, these players are so good. Lobbing a high grenade like this is child's play to them. Takes the hit. That's really problematic. Now they know he's there. And more is going to flow through. But they'll need these nades later on. That one's perfect. Yeah. Oh, he's alive!
Timing on it so rough, though. Oh, hang on, look at the reply! Tiamba! They cast one in. This goes both ways. You've given the information about his location, but now they know they can bombard on you.
Nice.
They've forgotten about Longs. Vampire's nades are good for the response back. QZ takes a heavy hit. Smoke wall goes up. There's finally the tag. That's Vampire securing the bag on that one. And off the back of that engagement, I mean, maybe they can move up onto this.
Nice.
Try and swing heavy on Compound. Hard confirm on the knock player as well.
That was a great response from Tiamba into an even better reply coming through from Vampires. They're blowing the doors off now. Looking to hit him quick and fast here. Hard commit onto this position. In come the smokes, but Talon waiting in the wings. An opposition not to underestimate. Sharp as the claws that they are wielding in this game.
The crushing power can be so lethal. Biding their time, knowing that these fights are erupting, but thinking about the big finish. Tony K, stoned, both of them looking really impactful with some of the plays that have been made over the course of the tournament. For now, it's a little bit slower. The flow of action was ramping up, the utility usage, but you know you're down to your last few bits. You don't want to overcommit with them. Use them when it matters most. Get those clean engagements off where you set yourself up for a cleaner firefight. Talon still lurking towards the backside, but your timing on that is going to be limited. Everyone will be forced to brawl as the zone comes in.
Stage 9 now. This game has gone all the way. The high ground, literally playing king of the hill at the moment as two teams start to aggress over towards that position. Vampire is going to open with a Molotov. Look to hit the Vam rip-roaring pyre over towards the compound itself and burn Tiamba out of position. So many smokes deny the sightlines as everyone gets closer. The mist enshrouding our battleground.
Last nade. Oh, is it going to be strong enough? No, not for Tiamba anyway. As it's Vampire that strike. The nade going downhill towards the Talon camp will connect and rip one of them out of commission. Vampire, realizing both teams are bleeding. Both teams are mortal. They commit with the dunks. The nades over the top, adding insult to injury. The bullets through the smoke still land as Misery goes down, softening up Talon so much. Tian was swooping from the side, but they flipped the script. The Molotov denies. The problems now arising. Vampire looking like they want to do some damage, but Tiamba with the turn. Oh man, it gets intense at the end, but Vampire are able to secure it in the carnage as they thrive in the chaos and take themselves the chicken dinner.
Dracula flips this around with the a la carte slam down on the table. And it's the king of the hill that we'll see from Vampire, who managed to make it